Hi, Ladybugs. So I wanted to introduce you again to somebody who I don't know if I had her when I had since I've had my channel. I might not have, but this is Denver, and she's the Evelyn by Cassie Brace, which is my all-time favorite kit. Out of all the kits, it's my absolute favorite. And I had sent her to one of my best friends, and she wants a baby that she traded me back because she misses her. And so she sent me Denver back, which is so sweet. She's just a cutie pie. So I wanted to introduce her to you. And today what I want to talk about is fakers, because I have been watching some videos on YouTube, and there are a lot of people who are faking conditions on TikTok for clout. Hang on, I'm looking for a baby. Let's dress her. Let's dress Miss Erica. Anyway, this is Erica. She's the Tegan kit by Ping Lao. Anyway, so I have seen a lot of fakers on videos about fakers on TikTok. I have a TikTok account and I go occasionally to check out TikTok, but I don't spend a lot of time perusing TikTok. And most of the videos I watch on TikTok are either Reborn or EDS related. So I don't watch a ton of videos oh, my water bottle's making noise. So I don't watch a ton of videos on TikTok and just peruse different people. So I don't see a lot of these TikTok videos, but I do see a lot of them on YouTube because I do watch quite a lot of YouTube. And I am just flabbergasted by Shakira Flabbergasted. No, if you don't know who Shakira Flabbergasted is, go to YouTube and look up Shakira Flabbergasted. It will just crack you up. Okay, she is just a hot mess of a woman. It's crazy. Anyway, getting distracted, getting off on a tangent. But I have seen a lot of videos about people faking cancer, which, by the way, what kind of crappy human being do you have to be to fake cancer? Like cancer? My best friend Karen died of cancer in my living room. And I'm telling you that, and I know that sounds weird. People are like, why did she die in your living room? She had gotten really sick with cancer. We were friends for like 20 years, and her kids, who she babied quite a bit, and she was not real firm with her kids. And so they were pretty immature for their ages. And so when she got to the point that she could no longer take care of herself, her kids were not taking great care of her. They weren't feeding her well. They weren't changing her a lot. By that point she wasn't able to get around. So she was in diapers, and she wasn't doing well at home, and she was very upset with the way things were going with her kids. So one of the days that I went to visit her, she asked if she could come stay here. We said yes. We took care of her. She was only here about 2 weeks before she passed away, and she died here. So that's why she died in our house. But it really upsets me to hear people faking these conditions, and I'll tell you why. There's a couple of reasons. Hang on one second. Let me grab her an outfit. All right, so this is what we're going to put on Erica. I love this. It's so cute. I have outfits that match that I might put on my other Tegan that look like this, so they have the same pattern on the top, but they're not identical, although I do have identical outfits, but I prefer my twins to look similar but not identical. Anyway, as I was saying, this trend of faking upsets me for so many reasons. First of all, it upsets me because people who are faking the condition tend to use stereotypical symptoms of a condition. Like, I'll give you an example for like Tourette's. There was a person on TikTok called Ticks and Roses who was faking Tourette's, and she was like using these almost comical, like her tics, her supposed tics, were so exaggerated and so ridiculously comical that she was basically making fun of people with Tourette's, which is just horrible. So one of the reasons is because they tend to use stereotypical symptoms of a disease that are not true to the disease, that are more like a minstrel show. Do you know what I mean? So that bothers me for that reason. The other reason it bothers me is because it these people who fake things, like there's another one called the A system who's faking DID. And there are a lot of people faking DID. And if you don't know what DID is, it's dissociative identity disorder. It's basically the new term for multiple personality disorder. And there are multiple people faking DID on TikTok. But they end up getting a huge following. First of all, a bigger following than people who actually have the condition. So they're kind of stealing that. And then on top of it, because they don't have the condition, they start giving out advice that doesn't help the condition at all. So they end up steering people who truly have the condition completely wrong. And it's horrible. And the third reason why I really dislike this trend is that it takes away from the followers that people with the actual condition. Tiny, what do you have? That people with the actual, okay, you can have that people with the actual condition might be able to have and have a bigger following. That's the third reason. The fourth reason is that once they get exposed for faking, which they all inevitably will get exposed at some point or another, somebody will wise up. Then they start making it look like everybody's faking because, once you get betrayed by somebody on the internet, now all of a sudden everybody, like for instance with Tourette's, there are true people. There's one called Ticking Together who truly has Tourette's. And she constantly gets comments like, oh, you're faking like Ticks and Roses did. So it casts, when people lie, instead of it being their lie and looking bad on them, it starts looking bad on everybody in the community. And now people are scrutinizing other people who truly have the condition and saying, oh, well, you're faking like this other person. That's another reason. And the last reason why it bothers me so much is because I have watched my mobility and my life go downhill over the last 20 years. And there are a lot of things I used to do, like bike riding and swimming and hiking and all the things I love to do that I can't do anymore. And I see people throwing it away. There are people who are faking mobility issues, who use wheelchairs. And it's like, what, you have this, you have mobility. I mean, I just don't understand it, guys. It just blows my mind. It's like, how can you give up something so precious? Because I would literally give anything to have all of my mobility back. So it really bothers me to see people throwing it away for nothing, because what's the point of it? Nothing. And it just bothers me. It's like you have no idea what you're throwing away, because when you're faking it, you still have your mobility and you still have options. Even if you choose not to take them, you still have them. And then there are people like in my situation who can't, I don't have that option. I don't have the option to have mobility when I want it and not have it when it's convenient. You know what I mean? And it really bothers me because it's like there's very little that I wouldn't give to have my life and my mobility back to the way it was. So to watch people throwing it away for what? For clout online is just, it's horrendous. It makes me feel bad. And it just makes me feel cheated because I'm like, well, here you are. You have this perfect mobility. There's nothing really wrong with you. But you're throwing it away, and it's just sad. It's disgusting. It's sad. It's disgusting for the people who are faking, because anybody who will fake illness for clout is just an evil person. I'm sorry. I don't care what people say. In my book, that makes someone evil to be faking disability. And it just does so much damage to the community of whatever disease they're faking. You know what I mean? It's just horrible. EDS is a disease that doesn't get a lot of recognition. It doesn't get a lot of research. And it's just so, I can't even describe how much it bothers me. It bothers me so much. And when I see people faking, I just want to shake them and go, what are you doing? You literally have your mobility and you're throwing it away. For what? For some likes online? That's worth it. That's worth throwing. I mean, I have done everything. I was told I would be wheelchair bound by the time I was 40. And I have fought tooth and nail to keep myself with some mobility. Now, my mobility is definitely going down, but I will do everything in my power to have every last day of mobility that I possibly can. And that will never change. So it really bothers me to see people just throwing it away. And they're like, oh, well, I'll just fake being disabled. Why would you want to fake being disabled? Why would you want to be disabled? I don't understand that. I don't understand that at all. To me, it's like, it's so mind blowing to me as to why people would want to fake that kind of thing, because people who really deal with mobility issues and with disabilities, they don't, brag about it and get clout and money for it. You know what I mean? Not that they're embarrassed, or not that they should be embarrassed, because they shouldn't, but they feel different, and they feel, alone sometimes. And it's just sickening to me. And I've seen so many videos of people faking it. And it just turns my stomach. It just makes me so upset. It really does. I don't understand people wanting to be disabled. You know what I mean? I cannot fathom it, because I literally would do anything to have the life back that I used to have. Not anything. I don't want to say like I'd sell my family or anything, or turn my soul over to the devil or anything like that. But I literally would do anything short of anything incredibly drastic to get my mobility back and have my life back where it was before. So to see people faking it, and to see people, exaggerating their symptoms and wanting to be disabled and trying to get clout for it online, just makes me sick. It does. And there's, I just don't understand it. I keep trying to like figure out why people do the things that they do. And I just can't figure it out. We talk a lot on this channel about different aspects of social behavior and society, and some of the things that are going on in society. And all I can say is, if you have your mobility, don't give it up for anything. All the attention in the world is not going to make you happy. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not. Because there are people who are truly disabled who would change places with these fakers in a second. Like, absolutely 1 second. They wouldn't even have to think about it. So it really makes me feel bad to see people faking. And I see a lot of people faking on TikTok. TikTok is, in my opinion, TikTok is the bowels of the internet. It's just a horrible place where nothing is checked. And everybody who's famous on TikTok is a horrible person. The influencers are, it's all about beauty, and I just can't even. I can't even. It's like there are people with true disabilities out there who should be able to tell their stories and not have them be run of the mill, but they are run of the mill because so many people are faking it. And that's just sad to me. Very sad. It's sad. It's disgusting. I don't even know, guys. I don't know why somebody would do this kind of thing, but they do. They do it every day. They do it all the time. They do it for internet clout. And it's like, really? Is internet clout that important to you that you're willing to sell out an entire group of disabled people just so you can have some likes and some money from TikTok, Especially the ones who fake cancer. Like, that to me is just foul. It's disgusting. There are so many people that struggle with that every day. And the ones who are actually getting the money in most cases are the ones who are faking it. And that's horrible. Because when they get found out, then people who donate to these kinds of causes, they stop donating, because they're like, how do we know that the next person isn't faking? So it taints it for everybody. And it's just horrible. It's just not cool. So anyway, that was my issue today. Erica, look how cute she looks in her little pleather pants. Doesn't she look cute? Her little hairs. She's so cute. Are you a cute girl? Little Miss Erica? There we go. Anyway, I also wanted to tell you guys that Bingo is coming tomorrow, so you guys will get to meet him either tomorrow. I don't know if I'll do a video tomorrow dependent on how the dogs are doing. If we're having a lot of chaos and stuff, I might not do one just because it might be difficult. But if everything calms down after a few hours, which I'm hopeful it will, knock on wood, I'm hopeful that everything will settle down and I'll be able to do a video in the evening and you guys will get to meet him. And if not, it'll be Monday, huh? We need some shoes. Move, Joe. Move, Joe. Move, Joe. Thank you, Joe. We need some black shoes for this outfit because that would be so cute. So anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everything is going good for you guys. I want to say thank you to my newer subscribers. You guys, I was kind of stuck in a rut at like 220. And now I've kind of gone up a little bit. So thank you to all of you. You guys make my world a better place. With every one of you guys that subscribes, I just feel so loved. So thank you so much. And to my older subscribers, you guys rock. You guys are awesome. You know you're awesome, though, because I tell you all the time. You know, I had somebody in one of my messenger conversations, I sent her a baby because she had lost a child and was doing really poorly last month. And she said she'd seen some of my posts on Facebook, and she said, with all that you go through, you know, you're so positive and you still try to help people. And you know, my answer to that is, well, thank you, number one. But number two, why not? You know, like, just because I'm going through a hard time doesn't mean I have to take it out on everybody else, you know, or in any way let it affect other people. You know, I have to be positive, because if I was down all the time about everything going wrong, I would just be down all the time. And that's not living, you know, that's not a way to live. You know, it's not a way to live, to constantly be focused on what's going wrong and constantly be focused on the last fall. Like, that's just not cool. You know, you have to make life. So we're all handed a hand of cards, right? And you can't wish for new cards. You just have to play the hand that you're dealt. And you can play it being miserable and unhappy and just constantly wishing you were in a different situation, but that's not going to change the situation. So the best thing I think to do is to just be pleased with your life and make it the best life you can, because guys, we only get this one life. We only get this one life to make ourselves happy, and life is too short to spend it unhappy. So my attitude is, it doesn't matter what you're going through. If something's bothering you, let it bother you for a few minutes. And then, you know what? After a few minutes is up and you've kind of dealt with it, then move on. Move on to the next thing in your life, because life is, I'm going to address Denver while we're sitting here, because life is too short to be unhappy. It's too short to be miserable. You know, you have to, some of us have a little bit more challenges in the cards that we were dealt than others, but wishing and praying and being miserable isn't going to change the hand that I was dealt. You know, I have to make the hand that I was dealt worth living, you know, otherwise, why are we here? I have to make it worth living and make it the best life I can, because it's the only one I'm going to get. I can't, by being miserable, I'm not going to somehow one day wake up and get to start a new life where I don't have these cards to handle. And here's the thing to remember, that even if your cards seem bad, everybody has dud cards to handle. Nobody's life is perfect. Everybody has dud cards to handle. Everybody has things go wrong in their life. Everybody has things they wish they didn't have to deal with. Now, those things may not be the same for you as they are for me, or for me and somebody else, but everybody has things they wish they didn't have to deal with. That's just life. So while it may seem like other people may have a happier life or an easier life, I guarantee you that they wouldn't think so, because everybody has things in their life that they have to deal with that they don't want to deal with. We all do. That's part of life. It's part of adulting. You know, it's even part of childhood, having things in life that we don't want to deal with, that we have to deal with. And so when I look at my cards to handle, I think, you know what? I'm doing okay, because Yes, I have a lot of physical issues. And yes, I have a lot of medical issues. But at the end of the day, my life is full of love and joy. And I have more in that area than a lot of people do. And so I consider myself very blessed, very lucky. Because I think that the harder thing to deal with would be to be alone, or to not have love, or to not have people in your life who are supportive and make you happy. I think that being alone would be the harder thing to deal with than the physical things that I have to deal with. You know what I mean? So I don't complain, because when you complain and you forget about your blessings and you focus only on what's wrong, more stuff is going to go wrong, because that's the energy that you're putting out into the universe is negative energy. And I don't want to put negative energy out into the universe, because I've seen what the universe can do when you tick the universe off. So in order to prevent anything worse from happening, I am going to be pleased and have my, sorry guys, I'm going to be pleased and be thankful for my blessings, and whatever cards I have to deal with, I'll deal with, because this is the only life I have. You know, I don't have an opportunity to flip a switch and have somebody else's life. And frankly, I don't think I would want to. Yes, I have to deal with a lot of physical pain. And yes, I have to deal with a lot of physical shortcomings. But at the end of the day, I have a wonderful family that loves me more than anything. And I have the best friends that were ever created. I mean, on the list of friends, mine are way up here. Like, I have devoted, trustworthy, honest, loyal friends. And I really couldn't ask for a whole lot more in my life. You know what I mean? So in the end, I think that I'm actually doing better than a lot of people. Hang on one second. I got to grab the hair bows. I would rather have my struggles be physical than emotional, mental, you know, being alone, all those kinds of things. So in the end, I'm not doing too shabby. And so I think that that's one of the reasons. I think that having a family that's supportive and loving makes going through anything easier, but especially going through physical things, because I think physical things and physical issues and financial issues in my book are on the lower end of serious. Now, I know that a lot of people would disagree with me and say that financial is way up there, but I disagree. That's just my opinion. I believe that having a loving, caring family and a loving, caring set of friends is far more important than anything financial. That's just my opinion. It's just what I believe. But, you know, if you guys feel differently, then I totally understand that. I just don't happen to agree, because you could have all the money in the world, and if you don't have someone to share it with, your life isn't going to be worth much, you know? I would much rather have financial issues to deal with and have a loving, caring, supportive team of people in my life than have no money. You know what I'm saying. I'm not saying it right. Sometimes I don't say things right. There's Miss Denver. But I would much rather have financial issues to deal with and physical issues to deal with than emotional issues and be alone. You know what I mean? I have a wonderful, supportive family, and I can tell you from just my life that I would not be where I am. I might not even still be here if I didn't have the family and friends that I have. They have been amazing, and they are an amazing team of people, and I could never ask for more. So anyway, that's just my take. April's take on life. There she is, all dressed. Doesn't she look cute? Oh, she does. She looks so pretty, huh? Huh, Denver, you look so pretty. She does. I'm happy she's home. Anyway, guys, I will talk to you later. I hope you have a wonderful night. Let's say a prayer before we go. So if you're not religious, you can log off now. If you'd like to stay and pray, then by all means, you're welcome. Lord, we come to you tonight humbled on our knees, and thank you for our blessings. We thank you for every single blessing, no matter how small. We thank you for your continued presence in our lives. We thank you for the people that you've given us to make life worth living. And I ask you, Lord, to help people put their difficulties in perspective, to help them see how it's not the worst thing in the world, to help them deal with the emotional side effects that come with having things in life that are difficult or a struggle. I ask that you be with them, Lord, that you hold them in your hands and comfort them, and that you bring peace to their hearts and remind them that the grass is not always greener on the other side. In fact, a lot of times on the other side, it's diseased, and that they have it pretty good the way they have it right now, because I think we forget that often, Lord. And I ask that you remind us all that we are not as bad off as we think. I know for me, Lord, that I am so blessed. I was born in a first world country at a time when I have every amenity, and dealing with my condition would be so much harder in a different place or a different time. So I thank you for that, Lord. Lord, I ask you that you help everybody watching tonight to fulfill all of their dreams and to comfort their hearts tonight, so that they know you're with them and that they know that I'm with them and that I love them. Thank you, Lord. We ask all of this through your Son, Jesus Christ, through Christ our Lord. Amen. And I mean that, ladybugs. I do care about you, and I pray that everything is going your way and that you're happy and healthy and having a really good weekend. So anyway, I will see you guys tomorrow, most likely, but if things are a little bit chaotic, it might be Monday, but you'll get to meet Bingo in the next couple days. So I'll talk to you guys later. Love you, ladybugs. Bye-bye.